Okay, so we just got out of the Mexican consulate office, and we'll tell you more about the whole process and how that went, but I'm all smiles right now because I got temporary residency. It was actually much easier than we thought. They were super friendly. Can't contain my excitement. Your thoughts?
That was much easier than I thought it was going to be. When we walked in there, the place was packed. Like, no way we're getting out of here
like the DMV,
soon.
There was a lot of people.
Yeah, but we had a 9 o'clock appointment, got there 20 minutes early, and we're out of there by 10 a.m. So this is the line coming into the U.S.
And we already passed some of it.
And we're now in Mexico. Well, we're crossing the river right now.
Okay, so this is the Laredo crossing. There is no...
So this is why you go to Columbia Bridge instead of crossing out Laredo.
But don't everyone go to Columbia Bridge or it won't be nice anymore. I'm just kidding. But seriously, oh my gosh, this must take
forever.
Hours and hours and hours.
And hours.
So after this, we put the camera away immediately because we are going from the US border into Mexico and we didn't want there to be any problems with the border officers or anything like that. So when we went there though, one of the officers asked us a few questions. We pulled the car off to the side, pretty typical, like where are you going, where are you coming from, what are you doing in Mexico, that kind of thing. He asked me to roll down the back window, saw that there was one suitcase in there, and then we went along through. The difficult part came when we were trying to find the Banjercito. Yeah, the tricky part was once we left that area where they were asking us questions, we had a pretty difficult time finding the INM office because we needed to get our FMM and some stamps in the passports. That was pretty difficult to find the offices for those, but once we did find them, it's a pretty simple process. And so this is of course after we were waiting in a long line of cars for a really long time. We thought it was a line to get to this office. Turns out it was the line to go from Mexico to the US. This was a line that we passed just trickling into side streets and stuff like that. So looking back, we really wish we had driven a little bit extra to go to the Columbia Bridge crossing once again to get all of this stuff done because it's a really simple layout. There was hardly anyone there the first time we went, and we have heard from other people like our good friend YouTuber Brendan Wood that is a good one to go to. So we want to reiterate that again. If you need to do anything like this, drive a little bit extra. It'll prevent lots of headaches.
So right now we're in the state of Zacatecas and we were driving down the highway. We passed a federal police officer.
And we both see him go by. There's hardly anyone on the road, so we're like looking in all the mirrors. Don't turn around. Don't turn around. Don't turn around. He turns around. And in Mexico, when a police officer's lights are on, you don't necessarily have to pull over. Sometimes they just drive around with their lights on. But in this case, he turned his lights on. My first thought was like, should I try to outrun him? They're not going that fast. I didn't do that. They caught up, and then they never turned the sirens on or anything.
But they kept turning the lights on and off, flashing their brights.
Flashing the brights. So we pulled over. As we were stopping, Jordan is getting out.
The things they usually ask for. Driver's license, the car registration, and the temporary import permit paperwork.
Which we just got.
Yes.
Literally just got today.
So he sees the temporary import permit paperwork in my hand, and he asks for that, or he just like points to that and looks at it, and he's like, what did he say? He's
like, honey? Okay, that's it. That's it. He pointed to the paper, said my name, and then handed it back, gracias, and then left. Like, what an absolutely pointless stop. Like, I think they were just bored. It felt like, what just happened? And this kid was literally a kid. I think he might have been younger than me, so. But in any case.
And then we drove a half hour more or so, and then came up to another, well, this was a checkpoint this time with federal police once again. They're letting every other car just go through. He stops us, asks us a dozen questions.
Bunch of questions. Where are you coming from?
Walks around the car.
Where are you going? Yeah, he was asking where we're going. We said Zacatecas. And
it's like, who lives in Zacatecas? We're like, we have an Airbnb for the night. And then he asked...
Jordan volunteered that we live in Guadalajara, and at that point he's like, oh, okay.
And he's like, where in Guadalajara?
What part? All of this is in Spanish, of course. We wanted to get this on film, but like, there's some level of like, we don't want to start more problems if they were to see, even if we tuck the camera down, if they were to see that there's a camera recording, we don't want to change an otherwise painless, that was pretty painless, experience into something where they're like, what's going on? Where are you filming? What are you hiding? Or something. So, sorry. Sorry, guys. This is the drive that never ends, 'cause it goes on and on, my friends. We just started driving it, not knowing how long it was, and then continued driving it forever, just because this is a drive that never ends. Oh my gosh, it feels like we've been driving forever and it's just straight. And then every time we turn Google Maps on, it's like, continue straight.
I'll tell you what, this drive from Laredo to Zacatecas has nice roads.
You want to point that on you?
Sure. Nice roads, but man, there is nothing to see.
Actually, the landscape is very pretty, but it's the same landscape over and over and over and over. And I know a drive that gets on everybody's nerves. Everybody's nerves. Everybody's nerves. I know a drive that gets on everybody's nerves, and this is how it goes. Just a heads up, later in this video we're going to be sharing with you guys some of the advantages of getting temporary residency. That's coming up, so stick around. I feel like we're playing a game of Where is Tangerine travels lately, and so where are we right now?
Zacatecas!
Zacatecas! It really is such a fun name to say. To be honest, I like it a lot more than Guadalajara because I'm very self-conscious about saying that every time. I know, you guys, I know, I say it wrong. I can't. Guadalajara. Anyway. Anyway, we're here in Zacatecas just for one night, so this is the next morning. We got in really late last night because we did a ton of driving. We were delirious by the end, as you saw. Or maybe you didn't see, depending on how bad it was. So we were just gonna grab breakfast here, but right now we're in some park. To be honest, I don't know. It's near the Centro area. What do you think about the city so far?
Reminds me a lot of Guanajuato City. Not quite as mountainous, not as steep.
Yeah.
But
the buildings.
There are lots of hills, lots of really cool old architecture.
We haven't even left yet, and I would love to come back.
Yeah, me too.
Pronto.
I feel like this park would be like a tiger enclosure in the zoo. Like a big, it all goes down in the middle so you can, all the people can see the tigers. Like we're the tigers right now.
We're the tigers, I was just gonna say that. This is so pretty. And then there's this fountain here which isn't on right now, but I really like this city. We were kind of in the outskirts where we were staying at the Airbnb last night, but even the Airbnb I thought was really interesting because you have the door to it and it looks like the neighborhood didn't look like, oh my gosh, this is a nice neighborhood, but we were like, oh, sketchy. But when you go in, it was like, where did all this house come from? How is all this house within right here? Because from the outside, you couldn't tell that it was a gigantic mansion on the inside. And it was super nice too. So I have a feeling this city is one filled with surprises, just like that. And I'm kind of sad that we can only stay here for like another hour or two before getting on the road.
Ah, ok.
Necesitamos practicar.
Muy bien, correcto. Chilaquiles rojos, ¿verdad?
Sí, por favor.
De tomate fresco.
Jugo de naranja y té, por favor.
Y quisiera pedir café,
Sí,
jugo de naranja.
sí.
Combo.
Sí, combo. Las salsas por los chilaquiles contienen cebolla,
Ella es alérgica.
Chiles con chile cebolla no.
¿no?
Este,
¿Y los frijoles? Ah, ok. Chilaquiles verde, por favor, sin cebolla.
unos rojos y unos verdes.
Sí. So we both ended up getting this combo here at Frescura Cafe, and it's 86 pesos. It includes coffee or tea, orange juice or a side of fruit, and then you get to pick one of 5 options on here. We both went with chilaquiles.
Which also includes fried eggs and beans.
Considering this and what we had for dinner last night, which is we found someone selling tamales on the corner of the street, and they were 8 pesos each. They're the big kind, like pretty sizable, and they had chicken in them. And we got this way too, oh my gosh. way too big of a portion of esquite with crema and like salsa and whatever else we wanted to put on it. That was
is corn.
esquite is elote off the cob. Elote is corn. And it was 30 pesos for this huge portion. Neither of us ate more than half, I don't think. First impressions of like the affordability of the prices here, it seems like it's like pretty good deals, but then again, we've only been here for 12 hours or so, so I'm not making any final conclusions on that. It just does seem like maybe, possibly, probably.
And this cafe that we're in is pretty close to the Centro area. Driving here, we saw this like big enclosed chairlift type thing going from mountain to mountain. We really want to do that. If you know any deets on that, let us know.
Please, that looks super cool. It goes over the whole city, so if you want to see Jordan freak the F out because he's afraid of heights, then definitely tell us the details and we will come back and do it. This is the biggest gazebo kiosco. Why is the camera sideways? Jordan's drunk. This is the biggest. Oh my god. This is the biggest gazebo kiosco that we've ever seen.
¿Dónde estás?
The centro. But seriously, this thing is huge. Go. Ah!
Oh, I'm a bird. Oh, I'm a bird.
Sure.
I think I scared him away.
On the road again. I can't wait to get on the road again. 'Cause I don't want to be in the car anymore. So we're about to get on the road for another long drive. We're not going to show you any toll booths this time because I'm sure you get the point, but we wanted to comment on something from yesterday's video. While we're telling you this, we're going to show you some of the pretty landscape that we saw on this long drive back to Guadalajara. We told you guys how we were scammed at a toll booth, and for the most part, people agree she was trying to scam us out of 55 pesos. We caught her. She got away with 5 pesos. But then there's some people saying it's not a big deal, that's not a scam.
It's misleading to call
It's
it a
misleading.
scam. Can you really say you were scammed in Mexico as the title?
We're a little irked that some people are making it seem like 50 pesos would not be a big deal to us, like because we're from the US and that's like $2.50 to $3. But that's not the upsetting part, and that's not why we showed this. We showed this because we don't want other people to get taken advantage of, whether you're from the US or Mexico or anywhere. And we would show a similar thing anywhere else in the world.
But we don't feel like we need to put a disclaimer on it, like, yeah, this can happen anywhere. Obviously it can. There's shitty people everywhere.
But let's put this in perspective about how much of a big deal this actually is if this lady is taking 50 pesos.
Yeah, so I'm a numbers guy. Did the calculations like, okay, how many people is she processing a day? How many people are going through her lane? And I estimate about 1,800 are going through her lane every single day. If she scams just 10 people of those 1,800 for 55 pesos each, that's 165,000 pesos a year. If she's able to get away with 100 times a day, that's 1.65 million pesos a year.
That's double what my salary used to be in the US. That's a big freaking deal. Some of you are saying, well, she probably doesn't make that much in her salary, but why does that mean she gets to steal from other hardworking people?
In a recent video, we said one of the things we loved about Mexico is people are willing to work for their money.
And they work hard.
Even those without a salary are out there doing whatever they can to make a living. And
Acrobatics in front of your car at a light, washing your windows, selling candy.
We really like that aspect. Yes, this woman is in the minority. Yes, we've had great experiences most of the time. No, this doesn't change our opinions on Mexico.
Buenas tardes, señorita.
Buenas tardes. 300 de Magna, por favor.
¿En ceros la bomba?
Gracias. So we're just passing through Aguascalientes for the very first time. We've never been to this city. So far we've just driven in it. And when we were stopped at a stoplight, well, the first one, we were bombarded with a bunch of people trying to wash the windows despite saying no.
I couldn't believe how many people were selling stuff at that intersection.
There were,
There were
we've never
dozens.
seen never seen so many people. And then at another light, there was a guy selling homemade alegrias, so we got 3 for 15. Super awesome. They're a little bit crumbly, but I'm much happier with this than any shitty food that you can get in Oxo.
But they're nice and soft. A lot of times they
Oh
get
yeah,
hard.
they're really soft, like you can refresh. ¿Tiene cambio de 500 pesos? Gracias. Gracias,
Que les vaya muy
Julia.
bien, igualmente.
And we wanted to show you how to get gas. To be honest, we still have no idea how to say, like, fill up the tank.
I
like,
think you use llenar.
llenar.
Yeah,
Well,
or
maybe you
that
guys can help
verb.
us out because there's plenty of people we could ask, but it's one of those things that we always forget to ask people. So basically, when we go to get gas, we say however many pesos we want of Magna, which is the green unleaded. Also, I'm not sure if it's better to say like unleaded or Magna. Sometimes verde works. Sometimes they look at you like you have 3 heads when you say that.
Generally, we pick a number of pesos and just give them like that bill, like 200 pesos. So then, like, there's these Pemex scams that you hear about all the time. But if you just ask for 200 pesos of it, and then just give them 200 peso bill, they can't try to screw you in any way. So we try to do that.
Or like what I just did was say, tiene cambio por 500 pesos, which is do you have change for 500 pesos, and that way there's no confusion about you giving them a 50 when it was a 500 or something. He also made me look to see that it was 0, so that's another scam, is that they'll like start it out higher or something so that you get less gas and they can pocket it, but I don't think that's ever happened to us either. But anyway, we're getting back on the road here, still headed towards Guadalajara. We're not going to bore you with more in the car footage, so we'll see you in a little bit.
We had just told you that we weren't going to have any more footage in the car. Well, we had left Aguascalientes maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes ago. And then we came to this checkpoint where they took all the lanes down into like 1 lane.
And this was a state police checkpoint, as far as we could tell.
Yep.
So we got up there, and surprise, surprise, we were one of the very, very few cars that were pulled to the side. The other ones that were getting pulled aside were like smaller type of delivery trucks. So they were looking in the back to see what they had. We don't have much with us, 2 small carry-on size suitcases, so they don't have much that they would be able to see in the car or need to search, but we did get asked a ton of questions.
So many.
So,
it was giving us the 10th degree.
Yeah, I think partly why sometimes we get pulled to the side is because we don't have a front plate, which is, you guys, we've told you in the past, it's because we're from Arizona and they don't give you 2 plates in Arizona, you only need 1 on the back. So first he has to see my ID, my driver's license, then he asked if I had any other identification, so we pulled out my passport, and he's of course asking where are we coming from, where are we going, and why don't we have a front plate on the car, whose car is it? Repeatedly, he asked whose car is it multiple times.
He asked if it was rented.
Mine, still mine, still mine, thank you for asking, yes, it's still mine. Our Spanish has advanced, so we're able to communicate in more advanced words. But we think he was trying to communicate something about having to go back to the border in 30 days if we don't complete additional paperwork. Because since we got temporary residency, yay! We are able to stay longer, but we have to complete some paperwork within 30 days or else we need to leave the country immediately. So we told you guys that we were going to tell you more about how to get temporary residency and the process that we went through, but we realized that there's more to the process that we should probably include in that same video, and that'll take maybe 1 to 2 more months to complete, but we will give you some of the details of the process that we've gone through so far.
Yeah, so we started off by booking an appointment at the Laredo consulate because we were told the Laredo Mexican consulate is really friendly when it comes to this. Not only in terms of the numbers that you need to qualify for, like whatever monthly income or how much you have in savings, but also in the paperwork that they accept. For example, they need proof of your income or your savings, and we just printed off some bank documents.
We can attest to them being very friendly in terms of actual demeanor as well. Everyone had a great attitude. It didn't seem like people can kind of be grumpy in those type of offices. Like I was saying, the DMV people are pretty grouchy, but we did not get that impression at all.
Yeah, and in terms of like that versus another consulate, at another consulate you might need a letter signed by your bank and bring that to them, or like official stamps or some notarized documents, but here that wasn't the case.
On our way with pre-approval.
So that appointment at the Laredo consulate was $36 US, plus you need to get like a passport photo, so whatever the cost of that is, and then there's some other costs involved once you get into Mexico.
There's paperwork that you have to file within 30 days of getting this pre-approval, and it was a huge, huge shock to us how much this paperwork actually costed. We had no idea the government fees that were required for this, and all the research that we had done. No one ever mentioned this, and maybe that's because the big, daunting, difficult part is getting the pre-approval, and then after that it's easy, but we were completely surprised by how much it actually was.
4,000 pesos. And then in a year when we go to renew it, it's going to be another 1,000 pesos per person.
So that was a pretty big chunk of change. We weren't expecting that. The benefit...
I'm sorry, I misspoke. In a year when we go to renew it, it's going to be another 2,000 pesos per person.
So that was a pretty big chunk of change that we weren't expecting.
And also we have the expenses of bringing the car in with that.
Right, so what's also associated with this is the temporary vehicle import permit, which, as we told you guys, is about $460, 400 of which is refundable.
This allows us to keep the car in Mexico for 4 years instead of 180 days. So that's a huge advantage of having temporary residency if you're bringing a car in. I don't know about you, but this guy was starting to piss me off.
He was being pretty annoying and asking the same questions over and over, and we know it's not like he asked the question and we answered it wrong. It was like, ¿Quién coche es este? Or something like that,
Yes, este carro alquilado, is this car rented?
But I think he was just running out of questions to ask, and since we now have a temporary residency sticker in the passport, both of us have IDs. He didn't ask for Jordan's though. The paperwork, the temporary import permit sticker is brand new. Everything is fine. What a nice car. Can it be mine? I feel like that's sort of where this was going, but who knows. Some of you guys think we're joking when we talk about how many times we get pulled off to the side or pulled over. It's like multiple times every time we leave a city and go to another city.
And like earlier, there was another checkpoint and he asked us a couple questions, but we don't count that because like we didn't get pulled off to the side. He didn't ask us a million questions.
I don't know. It happens. Is it because of the tangerine color? We don't know. Is it because the car looks unusual? There aren't that many Prius Cs driving through Mexico? I don't know. Is it because we're young? I don't know. Is it because I'm a woman driving the car? I don't know.
We don't know.
We just don't know. But I will say this. We have now gotten pulled over and pulled off so many times, I don't even get nervous anymore. Just like, yeah, when is this going to be over?
And then we've gotten asked so many times, like, so how many times have you paid a bribe, or how many times have you been asked for a bribe? Never.
Okay, car footage, done. I want it to be done now, it's over. So, looking back over these last 3 days, we honestly have no freaking clue how we fit as much driving and appointments and paperwork
and planning
and lack of planning into 3 days. This was 3 days, probably the craziest thing that either of us have ever done.
We pulled
it off somehow.
The appointment at the Laredo consulate 2 days before. On our drive back, it was noon, the day of driving back. We didn't know whether we were going to stay in Saltillo, Zacatecas, Aguascalientes. Booked an Airbnb last minute, thankfully.
We're back safe in Guadalajara, but as crazy as it seems, we're moving out of our apartment in a few days. So, on that note, subscribe to our channel if you want to know what happens next.
Give this video a thumbs up.
And gong that bell so you get notified when we put out a new video, and we will see you there.